Hello and thanks for joining us this Wednesday. I'm Mackailyn Johnson. Here's a look at some of the stories we're bringing you today. A Little Rock family is in mourning this afternoon following the shooting death of a baby girl. What we know right now. And at least 16 states are enforcing abortion bans with very limited exceptions. In 60 minutes, the women's health dangers doctors want you to be aware of. And it's a big night for reality show premieres on THV 11. Just ahead, we have a preview of tonight's entertainment lineup. But first, meteorologist Nathan Scott is here with us. Nathan, we're in the middle mark of the week. What can we expect?
Good afternoon, Mackailyn. It's a beautiful day all around Central Arkansas. Lots of sun, but it's also very dry. And the burn bans are up to 62 now. The latest county to join the bunch is Prairie County. Pretty much all of Arkansas should be under a burn ban because the fire danger risk is going to stay medium to high over the next 7 days. And in fact, Friday and Saturday, we bump up that chance a little bit to a high risk because there's going to be a wind around. Out there right now, beautiful day to enjoy the outdoors. Temperatures are into the mid to upper 70s, 80 in Fayetteville, 79 Texarkana. It's 78 in Pine Bluff and 76 in Searcy. A little bit of a wind is moving the air around somewhat, but those winds will stay primarily below 10 miles per hour. Highs today, a little bit above average. They're topping out to the low to mid 80s, but guess what? We're going for 90 degrees on your Thursday. Doesn't stick around. There's cooler weather that's heading our direction and also a better chance, probably the best chance of rain we've seen for quite some time. Next week, I'll let you know when that is coming up.
Thanks, Nathan. In developing this afternoon, a woman charged in the shooting death of a baby girl appeared in court this morning. Keandria Davis is facing 1 count of manslaughter. She remains behind bars this afternoon following her arraignment in Little Rock District Court. We are still working to get more information on her plea from the 8 o'clock court appearance. Little Rock police say a 1-year-old girl was shot and killed at a home on Doe Run Drive yesterday. That's off Checote Road near Mableville.
Anytime we have an incident with a child, it always pulls the heartstrings, and I know that first responders that came today, there's some of those that have young children. That's another element on top of just the humanizing level of some of the stuff that we see, and it's unfortunate. We hate it for the family. You know, this is a very difficult deal.
Police say their investigation is still ongoing. And now to more developing news. 24 hours later and questions still remain after a deadly fire at the Shorter College Gardens apartments in North Little Rock. 3 people are dead and we still don't know what caused the fire that broke out just before 2:30 in the morning. Crews battled that fire that did extensive damage to the center part of the building. Now we spoke with a few residents like Raven Duro, who lives in building 8. That's where North Little Rock firefighters say the fire started. Another resident, Gabrielle Madison, says she was visiting her sister inside the building, and while ensuring her family was safe, Madison says she made sure everyone got out safely too.
It was an explosion. I look out the window, like I said, it's a burning microwave in the grass. That prompted me to get up and go look out the window.
The first thing I did was tell my kids, Dad, get the neighbors, because there's other kids in there. So he actually knocked on all the doors.
Now, while the people we spoke with mentioned an explosion, we want to clarify, as of this afternoon, investigators still haven't released an official cause of the fire. Also this afternoon, we have our answer on Lit Fest. The festival set to take place this weekend is officially canceled, but other questions remain, like what about the concert featuring R&B singer Ashanti Saturday at the Robinson Center? We checked overnight and the event is still showing up on the Ticketmaster website, but it's disappeared from the Robinson Center events page. We plan to get an update today. Lit Fest was supposed to be a weekend festival featuring music, technology, food, and culture, but plans fell apart before it even began. Yesterday, we told you the city's contract with the promoter was terminated, and Little Rock's vice mayor told THV 11 he thinks the festival should be investigated. We spoke to vendors who have been confused for weeks about whether the event would happen.
For vendors, it's a nightmare, and overall, it's just disappointing that it was handled this way.
Mayor Scott blames, quote, divisive politics for negatively affecting the vision and impact of the new festival. He says he still hopes Lit Fest can happen in the future. And happening today, the candidates running for Little Rock mayor will come together once again to make their case to voters. Candidates Mayor Frank Scott, Greg Henderson, Steve Landers, and Glenn Schwarz are set to answer questions at a mayoral forum. This is video from a previous forum. Tonight's event starts at 6 o'clock at the Southwest Community Center on Baseline Road. It will be free to the public. However, seating is limited. And Little Rock Mayor Frank Scott Jr. launched his crime reduction plan earlier this year. Yesterday, leaders met to discuss how they're working to make the city safer. Mayor Frank Scott Jr. says overall crime is down, but unfortunately homicide rates are up 13%. Community outreach programs say they're doing what they can to reach young people, hoping to stop violence before it starts.
We now have body-worn cameras. All of our patrol officers, enforcement have body cams. We have additional so we can supply them for officers working off duty. And that is a huge step in building that trust.
The mayor also mentioned the city used American Rescue Plan funds to build the new real-time crime unit at the Little Rock Police Department to get more eyes on every part of the capital city. And last night, we saw law enforcement working to build closer ties with community members in the yearly National Night Out campaign. The City of Little Rock website says it, quote, promotes police community partnerships. Just in the capital city alone, 12 associations and resource centers held events for National Night Out, and it was also a chance for them to make connections.
Stopped with the onset of COVID, but now it is starting back. This center has a lot of history in the South End neighborhood, and I want the people in the community to know that it is open again. It has a lot of opportunities for our young children.
Other communities and cities also participated in this nationwide event. Well, President Biden is set to visit the Southwest Florida coast today after the death toll from Hurricane Ian rose to at least 108. Amid the rubble and despair, there are stories of immense generosity and kindness. Manuel Bojorquez reports from Fort Myers.
A week after Hurricane Ian's landfall, the streets of Fort Myers are lined with debris. It's overwhelming. Some find little can be saved. Volunteers are going door to door distributing supplies.
We got water, we got diapers.
Many residents still lack the basics: food, running water, electricity. They include Baltasar Lopez, who told us his family evacuated to the roof at the height of the storm as their home filled with water.
I tell everyone just to lay down on the roof. Don't move, Jeremy, because the winds was so high.
Wind speeds in the area ranged from 95 to 140 miles an hour. Now the Lopez's ruined belongings sit on the front lawn.
These are families that were struggling to make ends meet before the storm happened.
And now with the storm, they don't have nothing.
Miriam Ortiz runs the Gladiola's Food Pantry in Fort Myers' Harlem Heights neighborhood. They usually assist 850 families a month. Now they've served at least 1,600 meals since Friday. Ortiz told us many people here had jobs in communities with vibrant tourist economies that were upended by the hurricane. Fort Myers Beach, Sanibel, Captiva. Now folks like Sylvester Manjares, once a restaurant worker on Sanibel Island, are unemployed.
So looking for cualquier tipo de trabajo, cualquier labor so you're looking for any type of job to support your family.
And he's not alone. These women told us they spent hours on the phone trying to reach FEMA and unemployment assistance.
I don't have a job, I don't have money. I need money. I need pay bills, I need eat, and I need water.
Food, water.
And I need home. Yes.
We shared some of their concerns with FEMA and the state, but have yet to hear back on them specifically. We can tell you that FEMA does have teams on the ground, and the agency's administrator will travel to the affected areas with the president today. As for the state, Florida says so far it has already distributed more than 2.3 million meals and more than 15 million bottles of water. Manuel Bojorquez, CBS News, Fort Myers, Florida.
Russia's defense minister says the military has called up 200,000 reservists and has begun training them as part of its partial mobilization to support its war against Ukraine. Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says he will no longer negotiate after Russia's fraudulent annexation of several regions. And Twitter shares are soaring after a report Elon Musk has offered once again to buy the social media company. The Tesla CEO is also planning on buying the company at the originally agreed on price of $44 billion. A letter from Musk's lawyers disclosed by Twitter in security filings says Musk will close the merger signed in April. This comes as a Delaware court enters an immediate stay of Twitter's lawsuit and dismisses the trial against him, scheduled to start in less than 2 weeks. Now, when we come back, a look into one woman's heart-wrenching health decision and what doctors want you to know. Nathan?
Temperatures will be heating up on our Thursday. We could get close to 90 degrees, but it's not going to stick around. Cooler weather arrives for the weekend. I'll have more on that and when rain arrives. Back in the extended forecast next.